All right, go ahead. Now, what you're about to say, this is what I think you're leading into exactly what the point I'm trying to get. How we've been so mind controlled and pointed in a certain direction.
Well, what I'm trying to tell you involves those of us who have worked all of our lives to protect this country. And not a one of us that I know of, and the people that I know, such as the one we call the Golden Boy, which is Dan Hughes, or Ron Jackson, Frank Suma. You remember Frank Suma? Frank Suma was one of the Treasury agents which Clinton sent down to me to borrow the money to shore up China and 9 other nations, including the United States, in 1997-98. He needed the collateral. Well, Frank, like everybody else, like Al Capone, all the rest of them, they murdered him. Accused him of stealing. They murdered him. This is the type of presidents that we've had. This is the type of a corporate government that we've had here in this United States. Now, I'm going to give you an example, Clay. Russell Herman went into the U.S., he went into the Merchant Marines at the age of 13 and a half. He was born July 2nd, 1927. And then he went into the Merchant Marines in 1940. So you could put the pencil to it. The kid his mother had too many mouths to feed. There was a depression, just like what's coming here. So she put Russell over in the Merchant Marines. Well, World War II broke out. And at that time, then President Roosevelt issued an executive order putting the Merchant Marines over in the U.S. Coast Guard, Land and Naval Forces. And Rusty he knew no other life other than the Navy, the ONI, the Coast Guard, and working as the president's man. And he worshipped Harry Truman. Rusty, if he would have been left at home with his mother was nothing. She did what most women do in times when they've got nothing but a mouthful a house full of children with no food. She was the mistress of the sheriff right there in Chicago. Well, Russell was also, his mother was also a friend of Mary Daly, who was Mayor Daley's wife. And when people would go to Mary Daly's home, and they would complain about something that Mayor Daley had done to Mary Daly. Mary Daly would just take her little pearl handle 38 out of her apron. She'd call Frances, who was Russell's mother, and she'd say, "Frances, would you bring Russell over? I've got a new apple tree, or a pear tree, or a peach tree I need to plant." In Mayor Daly's garden, there would be bodies buried under every one of those fruit trees, practically. Now that's what life Russell had. Later, he was in the Navy and Jimmy Carter. He was right in the Navy with Jimmy Carter. And all of a sudden, everybody, you've got all of these presidents that know that these men are there. These Harry Truman men. And then they start using these men. Russell was a good friend of the Shah of Iran. Russell was a good friend of Gaddafi. Russell was there when they did Operation Christmas Tree and put in that sun base in Libya. That was Russell's project. Each one of these leaders, Russell knew these leaders one-on-one. He knew Arafat. He knew Gaddafi. He knew Papandreou. He knew George Papas. He knew all of these people.
In other words, we controlled them. The United States, using Russell, your husband, control these so-called dictators that we're supposed to be so scared of.
He was their friend. They trusted him.
Okay.
And Russell trusted this government, this bunch of bastards called Bush, North, Greenspan, and even Paul Volcker. And this is why Paul Volcker resigned recently. Paul knew all this was coming. Because, and why do you think Saddam was killed? Poor old Saddam, that was one of the nicest men I ever met. They say he was never in the United States, like hell he wasn't. He was right there at La Jolla when the Federal Reserve sent out, and the Department of Agriculture sent out Lowell Eastland, John Warner, and Steve Leahy, who is Senator Leahy, who was with the Atomic Energy Commission, for me to underwrite Saddam for the Cosmos, Seafood Energy and Marketing, to underwrite Saddam. Well, they always thought Russell owned Cosmos. Russell didn't own Cosmos. I owned Cosmos. Cosmos was a Durham property. Now, while I was there with the gentleman, they didn't want to talk to a woman. No, they didn't want to talk to them. They had that Far East mental attitude that no woman should be able to own that much collateral, and no woman should be able to control that much wealth, blah, 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 blah. Well, as I'm sitting there listening to all this nonsense, I look around and there's all these CIA people up there pretending they're on ladders, pretending to be working on wiring. They were rewiring, etc., etc. Well, I noticed there was a little guy sitting out at the end of the hallway. He was dressed, I had on a marvelous suit, and dressed impeccably with a bowler hat on. Or, not a bowler, a derby. And I went down, I said, I excused myself. I said, I need to go to the ladies' room. And they said, well, it's down in the hallway, and turned right and flipped. And as I was walking down the hallway, well, there was Saddam. He was sitting on that sofa. And when he stood up when he saw me coming. And he said, he took my hand. I stretched out my hand to shake his hand and introduce myself. And he said, he took my hand and he bowed slightly and he clicked his heels. He kissed my hand and he said, Lady Durham, he said, it's my pleasure to meet you. My distinct pleasure. He wasn't the man or the bastard that everybody said that he was.
Grandma, I always said, if Saddam, who was the kind of dictator that the press wanted to paint him as, then what would George Bush stand up before a crowd of Americans, 10,000 Americans below him, armed with automatic weapons?
Well,
and wave?
Look at what Rumsfeld's over there hoity-toiting around with it, cutting deals with him. You know, this is we've been fed a pack of lies. What I have said to you, these banks, these nations, there's 25 prime banks, internationally and nationally. And you will find those banks are all, and the individuals involved, some are dead now. Russell was murdered over this. But you will find that those banks laid off some of this collateral down And you're going to find South Africa involved here. You're going to find nations involved, their central banks involved. But then to cover all of this up, do you know, and to cover, there was a multiple thing going on there. You remember the SNL situation?
Yes.
Well, those CDs were sold off in Europe and Asia. Those banks weren't told that those CDs had been canceled. So when those 10, 15s, and 20s started, not 17, there were 17 years and 20s, started coming due, all of a sudden everybody's raising hell because they found out that they've been canceled. Then, lo and behold, they had to find another vehicle to cover all of that. So that's when they started out illegally securitizing my property. Now, I did not authorize that. And all of us, they thought that, and it's like Doris Ecker said, she said, oh my God, they snuffed the wrong party. Because they all believed that Russell didn't have 1 ounce of smidgen of signatory power. He couldn't have signed a thing independently. But the thing of it is, all of this is boiling down. They got out there, issued out some more collateral. They did it on a 2 10-year contracts, and all of this was laid off out in the Far East. That's what this crap is that cost Saddam his life, Arafat his life. It's what has cost Ariel Sharon to be put in a permanent coma. That's what all of this crap is about. And in the meantime, what have they done to all of us old agents? They kill off the man. It's just like in my instance. Russell had 5 military pensions coming. He'd been in the service all of his life. And I was his widow. But do you think that I could get any of those benefits? Hell no. I liked 1 day being married long enough, and I wasn't pregnant with his baby. And that was the excuse the Department of Health and Human Services. That's out of Chicago.
Interesting how that happened. So they let me out of the Army a week before my benefits came due.
Well, now then, they've taken all of our, they wiped my Social Security records. That was Clinton and Bush. They used Donna Shalala to do it. Wiped all of my Social Security records. And on November the 18th, 1991 or 92, I forget which, the Social Security demanded that my name be taken off of that Boatman bank account here in Belleville, Illinois, which we had the Cosmos account in, or Russell had our accounts in. And then and Russell was blind as a bat. He couldn't see anymore. But they demanded that my name be taken off of that. They used that account, that Boatman's account, for an in and out account for laundering of their money. And I'll give you the damn bank account number. It's 081001413, and then the account number is 01150302969. And that was the account that the Bushes and the Clintons used as an in and out account for laundering out the money for those 1991
Are you
transactions. What?
So you finally got somebody in the Justice Department to start looking at these banksters? I mean, how many trillions have they ripped us off for, Grandma? And
well, when they ripped off when they ripped off this Project Hammer, I forget. I think there was somewhere 14 or 17 trillion dollars in that. And that was gold. And so, as to mine, they put out two 120 billion. One went on Japanese yen, the other one went on Deutschmark. Then that does not include what the Eckers did out of the Philippines, and that was approximately $107 quadrillion, which they were to split 50-50. The Federal Reserve and all the was to split with the Eckers 50-50 all the monies taken down offshore. Now all of this crap went right straight over from into the way I figured. I could be wrong, but very rarely am. Because there's not another individual that can follow this stuff except the owner. But the Federal Reserve and the English banking, which would be the petrodollar group, British Mint, George Soros, and the old East India Company, and China Citibank, J.P. Morgan, all of that huddled together, and they took all of that gold that they had stolen and lodged it over there in the OITC. It took a lot of backdating and forging of documents, just like Clinton had to do when he was restructuring the international monetary system, or the global monetary system. But he forged and backdated instruments from Ronald Reagan's executive orders to get into that. And then he allowed this stuff to go on with my collateral. I don't like this. Now I'm going to tell you something else. We're going to leave that right there. We've got 50 republics out here that are in deep pocket. I've talked it over to the executive trustees, and I've already got $1 trillion that is laying here. When you remember when President Bush asked for someone to put up $1 trillion so he could jumpstart the economy. Well, I put up $1 trillion, and I notified him on that $1 trillion. Well, he never used it. Okay, well, I've got that sitting here in the corporation, which I'm setting out to use to jumpstart these republics that regain their 10th Amendment. And right now, I think we've got 13 that's going to work with the trust. But the reason why, and then we're going to see how that starts and how that takes off.
I would say.
Please let me
I'm sorry.
finish.
Go ahead, dear. Go ahead.
And I intend to put up $1 trillion for each republic. We've got bridges, we've got roads, highways, we've got schools, we've got hospitals, we've got elderly, we've got health care. And we're on overload with these imports, illegal imports. We're on overload, and I won't take care of them. That's all there is to it. I will not allow this trust to take care of a bunch of people that's come in here to freeload off the American people. That's going to stop. Now, we're going to get this republic back. We're going to put this money where it belongs. How it'll be set up, the trust is going to be set up in all the republics. That'll be run by people that are interim trustees right now. Eventually, and once it's flowing, those republics will vote on the parties that they want in those trust offices. And those trust officers will work directly with the governors and the treasurers and the people as to what they want. If they want schools, we'll underwrite them. They want health care, we'll underwrite them. That's where we're going. We're going to get this country back. We're going to get the industry, the manufacturing, the jobs back in this country.
Well, that's... I warned... Grandma, I warned 15 years ago that NAFTA and GATT was simply taking away jobs, you know.
We all did. GATT, NAFTA, and CAFTA, and all of that crap. All of us, 1,000 to 1, voiced our opinions against that. You know that, Clay.
Yeah, and we were marginalized. We were marginalized and tried to paint as the enemy. You know, we're not rebelling against nothing. All we're trying to do is support this Constitution.
No, we're not rebelling against anything except corruption. Now we've got the greatest country in the world here.
I think so too.
Now for these republics to get part of this activity going on this trust, get funded out with this trust, these governors, and every time they use a penny or request a penny, they're going to have to submit the project, itemize it. There will be no more damn pork. We're not going to let somebody lay on their lazy ass and get supported while honest, hard-working people are going without. Or come into this country and have a package of babies so that they can be on welfare or in the healthcare system or whatever. Now the same thing goes for Latin America. Latin America has her sovereign republics. We've set aside 24% for those Latin Americans. Now then, we've got another problem. We've got the Far East that's been hoodwinked, and we've got Europe that's been hoodwinked. Alan Greenspan took and underwrote 80% of that euro with non-trust collateral, which was unauthorized. And now we've got the Europeans we've got to look for. Well, we're going to protect the Europeans also. Because right now, there's enough collateral there that we can do it and do it right. But we've got to do it with clean hands. We've got to do it where the people can once again regain their self-respect, and mothers can stay home and raise the families, the fathers can have a decent job, because we have restored the manufacturing and the infrastructure, and we've created jobs that allows the mother to stay home and raise her children and give them the guidance that they need.
Yeah, keep the grandmas and grandpas at home to provide the wisdom and the guidance. You know, my grandfather taught me to read, so I never needed the schools. You know.
Now, I'll tell you what, my dad had a 4th grade education. But I'm going to tell you something, that was one of the smartest men I ever saw in my life. I would be hard-pressed to find anyone as intelligent as he was. Well, our mother was the same way. It was just a family that kept on learning, and we believed in our country. So, but we're going to get this country back. We've got to get our republics, take back our republic, and tell the Federal Reserve to go back across the pond. We don't need them. And I think every nation in the world ought to tell them the same damn thing. When they can take and steal and murder, look what they did to Saddam. And now they found out that the kid wasn't guilty of anything they accused him of.
Who was that again?
Saddam.
Oh, yes.
that went over there and bombed Gaddafi, killed one of his children, went down and tore the hell out of Palestine and poisoned Arafat. They took the Shah of Iran, supported the Ayatollah Khomeini over in high luxury, over in greed, until they could get the Shah, who had been their ally, get him out, get him overthrown. Well, you're looking at the same thing going on right now. And I don't think the world can survive more dictators like Adolf Hitler, and that's exactly what we're looking at.
Well, we've got people like you fighting for us. If we can get the backing, we are waking up the American people. You know, this thing in Egypt, there's a little bit of a distraction because these same things happening here. Don't you agree?
Well, it's going to happen here big time when these unemployment checks cease. It's going to come down big time, and I really worry about it because we are a peaceful people. I was listening to Russell Means the other day, and you know, incidentally, this trust also involves the Lakota and the other nations. Did you know Russell was a Lakota?
No, I didn't. I've got Russell Means up on my website, and I've got another one about the whole Iran-Contra deal that's up on my website too. That's really good.
Well, if you want to go over on my website, if there's anything over there that you feel like you need, well, you just go ahead and post it.
All right, I will, dear, and I'll get the information that you've sent out to us. I'll get that up as soon as possible here. If I can get my computer to open up all the windows it's supposed to open up.
Once you get that done, I've got a whole bunch of stuff that I've got from the anchors, even to the point where Hatan, a.k.a. Doris Ecker, says, we've got to get bombs on airplanes and fly them into buildings. It's got to start here first. Yeah.
Incredible. All right, Grandma, we're out of time, dear.
Well, you have a nice day.
I'm here for you. Anything that you need. I'm trying to get some capital in there to get gas to go up to Phoenix. I'd love to be able to try to talk to the governor.
I'm trying to get enough money in here to get my teeth fixed.
All right, dear.
Okay, talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, that's water everywhere, not a drop to drink. All right. Folks, we're out of here. God bless you. Go to freeamerican.com, order some books, make a donation, do something to help.